Bersedia.
Siap.
Siap.
Mulai. Mulai.
Aduh.
Ya Allah, Bimo, Riza, nggak apa-apa?
Aduh Bim, sepatu bututnya nempel di muka. Kan aku nggak sengaja, Reza. Astagfirullahaladzim. Hush, kok ketawa?
Guys, ada yang mau gak?
Boleh. Yakin ya, Man? Pakai ditanya, nggak percaya banget sih. Nih.
Tenang aja, Ja. Itu kan pure and safe. Ada sertifikasi halalnya. Pasti aman. Udah pakai aja.
Alhamdulillah, sabun mukanya halal. Kok airnya mati ya? Apa mati listrik ya? Kok nggak nyala-nyala?
Bimo. Shh. Ada kok, Ja. Tuh, ada kan?
Oh iya, airnya ada. Alhamdulillah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Bakpao, bakpaunya bakpao. Bakpao.
Wah, ada tukang bakpao. Enak tuh kayaknya. Jadi lapar lagi nih aku. Kamu sih memang lapar terus. Yuk kita beli bakpaonya, Naomi. Fahmi, jangan lupa tanya dulu ke mamangnya. Halal nggak tuh bakpaonya? Iya. Mang, beli bakpaonya dong. Bakpaonya halal kan, Mang?
Halal atuh, Cep. Tuh, lihat di gerobaknya Mamang. Ada logo halalnya dari MUI. Pokoknya mah, bakpao Mamang dijamin halal dan enak.
Oke deh, Mang. Minta satu ya bakpaonya, yang rasa coklat.
Siap, Cep.
Berapa, Mang, bakpaonya?
5.000 aja, Neng.
Aduh, uangku ketinggalan nih. Di kantong cuma ada 2.000.
Eluh.
Ada apa, Naomi? Ini loh, uangku cuma 2.000. Tapi harga bakpaonya 5.000. Kurang uangku. Oh, begitu. Nih, aku pinjamkan 3.000. Tapi besok kamu kembalikan 5.000 ya.
Nah,
Loh, kok begitu? Memangnya kenapa? Kan aku sudah meminjamkan uangku. Nggak mau kalau begitu. Masa pinjam 3.000 kok harus kembalikan 5.000?
eluh, Dek. Udah atuh, jangan ribut di sini. Jadi gak belinya? Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam, Pak Ustadz. Wah, kebetulan ada Pak Ustadz. Loh, memangnya ada apa, Mang? Ini, Tat. Neng Naomi mau beli bakpao. Tapi pas mau bayar, ternyata uangnya teh kurang. Cep Fahmi mau pinjamkan 3.000. Tapi dengan syarat harus dikembalikan 5.000. Neng Naominya teh nggak mau. Astagfirullahalazim. Benar begitu, Fahmi?
Ladies and gentlemen who join this event through Zoom, please ensure that you have the latest version of Zoom, version 5.3.1. After entering the Zoom meeting room, click on the interpretation logo on the bottom of your screen. Choose English in channel 1 or Indonesian in channel 2 for preferred language channel. Please click mute original audio if you only want to hear the interpretation. Thank you. To commence the event, let us now listen to our national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise for national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Thank you. You may now be seated. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you. Good afternoon, distinguished participant, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 3rd International Halal Dialogue IHD 2021. Once again, give a big applause to all of us. Honorable Mr. Doni Primanto Juwono, Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Indonesia, Mr. Muhammad Akil Irham, Head of Halal Product Assurance Organizing Agency, BPJPH, Mr. Bambang Himawan, Director of Syariah Economy and Finance Department of Bank Indonesia, Mr. Rafiuddin Siko, CEO and Managing Director of Dinar Standard, Mr. Ihsan Ovud, General Secretary of SMIC, Ms. Barbara Rus Bejarano, President of Halal Instituto of Spain, Mr. Afdal Aliasar, Director of Halal Product Industry of KNEKS, Mr. Sapta Nirwandar, Chairman of Indonesia Halal Lifestyle Center, and international participants from halal organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, realizing the importance of global halal standard, it's such an honor for me, Didi Mangrejo, as the master of ceremony of this event. On behalf of International Halal Dialogue 2021 Committee, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us today, virtually and physically. And we appreciate you taking time of your busy schedule to join us today. IHD 2021 is a part of Indonesia Sharia Economic Festival, ISEF 2021. This event is to increasing togetherness in growing the halal industry in the world, pioneering the growth of global halal standard, exchanging information and opportunities and challenges for the development of the halal industry in the world, and updating on development of Indonesia's halal policy. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the event, I will announce the agenda for today. First, recitation of Holy Quran by Mrs. Asrina. Second, doa led by Mr. Ali Fauzan LC. Third, welcoming speech by Mr. Muhammad Akil Irham. Fourth, keynote speech by Mr. Doni Primanto Juwono. Fifth, plenary session led by Mr. Sapta Nirwandar. Sixth, breakout session will be divided in 3 breakout rooms. Breakout 1, authorities room at ballroom 3. And we also have Mr. Sugeng Raharjo, Head of Division for Accreditation of Calibration Laboratory, and Mr. Emre Kiriçioglu, Hak Turkey. And for breakout 2, Business Association Room at ASEAN 5. We have Mr. Adi Lukman, Head of GAPMI, Mr. Muhammad Chaudhry, President of Ivanka. And for breakout 3, Researchers Room at ASEAN 8. We have Mr. Iqbal Irfani, IPB University, Mr. Marco Timan, as CEO LBB International. Ladies and gentlemen, after breakout session, we will have wrap-up session led by Mr. Sapta Nirwandar. Before we start our plenary session today, let us all take time to listen faithfully the recitation of the Holy Quran by Mrs. Asrina, the winner International Kori in Malaysia in 2015. So Mrs. Asrina, time is yours.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين إنه لكم عدو مبين صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mrs. Asrina, for the beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin this event, let us pray together. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this event for all of us, and this event can run smoothly. Will be recited by our brother, Mr. Ali Fauzan LC. For Mr. Ali, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hadirin yang berbahagia, mari kita sejenak tundukkan mata dan hati kita dengan menengadahkan dua tangan kita seraya berdoa dan bermunajat ke hadirat Allah Ta'ala. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. ربنا لك الحمد ولك الشكر كما ينبغي لجلالك وعظيم سلطانك اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami menundukkan diri berdoa dan bermunajat ke hadirat-Mu ya Allah. Semoga acara internasional halal dialog yang ketiga ini berada dalam lindungan dan ridha-Mu ya Allah. Ya Allah, ya Ghani, sungguh besar nikmat dan anugerah yang Engkau berikan kepada bangsa dan negeri kami. Maka kuatkanlah jiwa dan pikiran kami agar dapat mengolah dan mengelola sumber daya yang kami miliki dalam rangka mengembangkan standar dan industri halal di negeri kami, agar mampu bersaing dan menghadirkan produk halal di tingkat global. Ya Allah, ya Hadi, segala upaya dan ikhtiar telah kami curahkan, memenuhi seruan dan larangan-Mu agar tidak mengikuti langkah-langkah musuh-Mu ya Allah. Dan beralih berkonsumsi dan mengembangkan industri halal di negeri kami. Namun dinamika dan rintangan, hambatan dan problematika pengembangan industri halal terus menghadang dan menjadi tantangan bagi kami dalam rangka membangun dialog, berinovasi, dan mengembangkan produk halal di negeri kami. Ya Allah, Tuhan kami, satukanlah hati dan pemikiran kami. Satukanlah kata dan perbuatan kami. Satukanlah saf barisan kami untuk bergandengan tangan, berjamaah penuh komitmen membangun standar dan industri halal di negeri kami. Allahumma ati nufusana taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khairu man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa mulaha ya Allah. Allahumma aslih ulata umurina wa aslih dhata bainina. Allahumma wahid sufufal muslimin wajma' kalimatahum ala al-haq وألف بين قلوبهم واهدهم سبل السلام وانصرهم على من عاداهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحانك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Ali Fauzan LC, for leading the prayer this afternoon. And now let us welcome Mr. Muhammad Akil Irham, Head of Halal Product Assurance Organizing Agency, to deliver the welcoming speech. For Mr. Muhammad Akil Irham, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good day, good afternoon here from Jakarta. Good morning and good evening from other countries and other parts of the world. Prior to giving my remarks on the third International Halal Dialogue, please allow me to express salutation and greeting from various religions in Indonesia that convey the message of peace, tranquility, harmony, prosperity, and welfare, and are commonly expressed here in Indonesia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Wededang Tian. His Excellency, Governor Bank Indonesia, or Representative Mr. Deputy Governor, His Excellency Secretary General of SMIC, His Excellency International Relation of HAK Turkey, Her Excellency President of Halal Institute of Spain, His Excellency President of Ivanka USA, His Excellency CEO of LBB International, His Excellency Deputy for Accreditation BSN Indonesia, His Excellency Head of KNIKS, His Excellency CEO and Managing Director Dinar Standard, His Excellency CEO Halal Lifestyle Indonesia, Mr. Sabta Nirwanda, my senior and my brother from Lampung. His Excellency Head of GAPMI Indonesia, His Excellency Representative from Agriculture Institute of Bogor. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers and participants. First of all, I would like to convey apology as well as appreciation and gratitude from the Minister of Religious Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Yaqut Khalil Qaumas, that he was unable to attend this forum and granted permission to deliver a welcoming speech on his behalf. I would also take the credit to all the committees, speakers, and all participants. Thus, I strongly support and warmly welcome all of you in the third International Halal Dialogue with the theme Realizing the Importance of Global Halal Standard. I reckon it is extremely relevant and in context not merely to the needs of the Muslims across the globe, but also to our non-Muslim brothers and sisters. While looking forward that this forum will also contribute to certain even small concrete action in realizing the importance of harmonizing the global halal standard in the global market. This forum involved several important international figures in the field of halal, from authorities, associations, businesses, industries, and researchers, which surely have knowledge and experiences in their representative countries. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers and participants, as we all aware, halal has transformed into an Apple ecosystem and one of the world's attention, as it has a large market and a promising value. As a matter of fact, halal products, which consist of goods and services such as food, beverage, tourism, fashion, media, pharmaceutical, cosmetic, and renewable energy, are in a great demand by producers and consumers across territorial, geographic, and demographic boundaries, regardless religious and educational background, ethnicities, cultures, and languages. For reasons of health, safety, ethics, quality, taste, and animal welfare. One could also argue that this circumstance makes halal become a global awareness and a part of our gastronomy lifestyle. It's interestingly one of the biggest contributors to the growing demand of global halal standard, of global halal products nowadays is from Generation Z, or some others call Gen. In Indonesia particularly, based on the empirical research, around 75% of total population, 270 million people have access to social media, and almost 80% is Generation Z or Gen. Generation Z is generation of Industrial Revolution 4.0, the biggest and the most often social media users, and growing up in the midst of climate change, cyber attack, COVID-19 pandemic, and in the era of VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Therefore, inevitably, halal products must also be managed and connected with digital platforms or digital halal database and halal QR and barcode, which can be easily accessed and provide information related to raw materials, halal certificates, certification bodies, a complete list of halal certified retail and industrial products, a complete list of recalls and other issues with certain products. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers and participants, the International Halal Dialogue is paramount to the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Firstly, Indonesian government has its core value, that is Indonesia as the largest halal producing country in the world by 2024 and Halal Indonesia for global market. And through this forum, we hope to create awareness, collaboration, and synergy between various stakeholders at the global level. Secondly, the Indonesian government aspires and commits in realizing the core value mentioned earlier by conducting specific regulation and on quality assurance of halal product, strategic budgeting, as well as by changing the policy from voluntary to mandatory. For example, law number 33/2015 2014, law number 11/2020, and government regulation number 39/2021, in which we will share and explain those regulations in the forum discussion. Lastly, Ministry of Religious Affairs has been receiving high demands and ample of proposal of mutual cooperation from various countries around the world. We also have signed several MOUs and encouraged to implement concretely. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers and participants, I wish a successful event and I greatly appreciated your participation, which shows the importance of our great collaboration and cooperation for the future development in the global halal market, as well as potentials and challenges in the global halal industry. And in turn, hopefully, this will contribute to improve the welfare and prosperity of the people. May God help and bless our effort. Wallahul muwafiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Wede Dong Tian. Jakarta, 29th of October 2021, Minister for Religious Affairs, Yakut Khalil Qomas. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Akil Irham, for your welcoming speech. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next agenda, let us welcome Mr. Doni Primanto Chuonu, Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Indonesia, to deliver the keynote speech. So, ladies and gentlemen, give the warmest welcome to Mr. Doni Primanto Chuonu.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Head of the Halal Product Assurance Organizing Agency, Mr. Muhammad Akil Irham, distinguished speaker and all conference participants, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me begin by praising Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, God Almighty, for His blessing that we all could assemble here at the Third International Halal Dialogue. Peace and greeting be upon our Prophet Muhammad SAW, who had brought us from darkness to light, from the Jahiliyah era to the knowledge era. It is a pleasure and honor for me to be here today among distinguished speakers and enthusiastic audience. Let me first thank the Halal Product Assurance Organizing Agency for providing excellent collaboration and support to the success of the Third International Halal Dialogue as part of the annual event of the 8th Indonesian Sharia Economic Festival. On the meaningful occasion, I will briefly convey several notes related to the challenges of the national economic recovery and the role of the Indonesian Sharia economic, especially the halal industry, in accelerating national economic recovery and competing in global market. This is relevant to the theme at this conference, namely realizing the global halal standard. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to start with the role of the Islamic economic in national economic recovery. As we all know, the development of Islamic economic and finance greatly contribute to the national economy. Apart from being a new source of economic growth and promoting financial system stability, the Islamic economy and finance also create a healthy and supportive social environment, as reflected in Sharia principle, which guarantee halal and goodness in the first place. The development of the Islamic economic sector so that it's resilient during the pandemic time, in line with the improvement in national business activities. Sharia businesses grow positively in the recovery phase. In quarter 2 2021, the growth of the leading sector of the halal industry, namely halal food, Muslim fashion, and Muslim-friendly tourism, reached 8.2% year-on-year, higher than the national GDP growth at 7.07%. Nevertheless, last year, the OIC stated that the impact of the pandemic had caused extensive pressure on all 57 member countries. We have witnessed the disruption in the supply chains of the halal product and the decrease in investment by -13% year-on-year in strategic sector, such as halal food, modest fashion, and Muslim-friendly travel. For this reason, amid uncertain development, we must take the opportunity for the competitive advantages of Indonesia economy, in particular the Sharia economy, to relentlessly improve quality and performance to promote and accelerate economic recovery. In line with the large contribution of the Islamic economy to the national GDP, the Indonesian halal industry still can escalate in the future. According to the State of the Global Islamic Economic Report 2020-2021, Indonesian ranking in the Islamic economic and financial ecosystem development has risen to 4th from the 5th in the previous year. The leading sector of the Indonesian halal industry, namely the modest fashion sector and the halal food sector, are ranked 3rd and 4th. The market share of Indonesian halal foods reaches 13% of the global market, the largest in the world. In quarter 2021, Indonesia has exported halal food from $10.36 billion or increased by 46.102% year-on-year. In terms of the modest fashion sector, spending on the global in 2019 increased 4.2% to $277 billion, and it is predicted to reach $311 billion in 2024. In the same year, Indonesian expenditure in the modest fashion sector will be $16 billion, and then become the top 5 spending countries alongside Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. The blueprint of the development of Sharia economic and finance of Indonesia, along with the master plan for the Indonesian Sharia economic and finance, is becoming more relevant to be continuously implemented. The first pillar of the blueprint, namely the halal industry development, is a strategic key for the rising the Sharia economy. The growth of the real sector in turn requires Sharia financial support as the basis of the second pillar. Furthermore, improving literacy as targeted in the third pillar is necessary to accelerate the development of the Islamic economy and finance from the other two pillars. Bank Indonesia relentlessly played the role of regulator, initiator, and accelerator through prioritizing systemic planning, efficient work implementation, and synergy among all stakeholders. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, despite the rise of the global halal industry, we still need to overcome the main issue of the halal product transaction, namely the absence of the global halal standard. We realize that there are differences in the halal standard among the countries. Therefore, some countries may not necessarily accept the halal certification from others. Such issues should be raised and solved to accelerate the development of halal industry and halal product trade. We highly appreciate that the Halal Product Assurance Organizing Agency has taken initiative to raise and solve such issue in order to build togetherness to realize the global halal standard. The first and the second International Halal Dialogue Initiative were successfully held in 2019 and 2020 to create awareness among the global halal authorities and industries. Today, the third International Halal Dialogue is held to the pioneer, the global halal standard and mutual recognition of halal certificate among countries. We hope this event can allow us to harmonize and integrate the halal certification with the Codex Alimentarius standards. Therefore, we can strengthen understanding, commitment, and togetherness in growing the halal industry in the world. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, finally, please allow me to express my sincere appreciation and gratitude to Honorable Head of the Halal Product Assurance Organizing Agency, distinguished speakers for their willingness to share their expertise and knowledge for the formulating the global halal standard. And my appreciation also goes to all the participants for the attending this important conference. May Allah Almighty bestow us the strength and patience to fulfill our duty for a better future of the global halal industry. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a very successful and fruitful discussion in today's conference. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Doni Primanto Juwono, for the keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will have group photo session. We'd like to invite to come to the stage Mr. Muhammad Akil Irham, Mr. Bambang Himawan, Mr. Afdal Aliasar, Mr. Sapta Nirwandar, Mr. Sugeng Raharjo, and also Mr. Adi Lukman. Once again, I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Akil Irham. Please come to the stage to take a photo group. Yeah. Please come to the stage. Okay. Photographer, are you ready, photographer team? Gentlemen, are you ready? Please look at the camera. I will start to help you to come down. Start from 3, 3, 2, 1. Once again, 3, 2, 1. Okay, please remain on stage because we will invite all participants to join photo group. All participants who join virtually, please activate your camera. Once again, we would like to invite all participants who join virtually to activate the camera. Okay, ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, gentlemen, maybe you can have a bit of a freestyle pose, yeah? It's up to you, okay? You have a special pose, okay? Ready? Okay, all participants who join virtually, are you guys ready? Okay, you can have also freestyle, a bit freestyle. 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, thank you so much. Once again, give a big applause to all of us. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you. You may return to your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, to take us straight to the core of this afternoon event, I would like to invite Mr. Sapta Nirwandar as Chairman of Indonesia Halal Lifestyle Center to take the screen and lead us through the plenary session dialogue. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, give a big applause for Mr. Sapta Nirwandar.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah. La haula wa la quwata illa billahil azim. God Almighty bless us for today very important session. Indonesia International Halal Halal Dialogue, yes. Normally halal standard, but halal dialogue. The third halal dialogue is a part of ISEF, International Syariah Economic Festival of Bank Indonesia. First of all, I would like to welcome Pak Doni, Pak Deputi Bank Indonesia, and of course, Minister of Religious, Pak Yakut, and of course, our distinguished guest here, as I don't say head of BPJPH, but chairman or CEO of BPJPH. That's important. Why? That has to be sense of business for BPJPH. CEO Pak Muhammad Akhil Hirham for the halal standard and certification. Of course, we have another boss of association food and beverage, Pak Adi. Thank you for joining here in ground, in live. And also there is Pak Sanjoyo is from Cosmetic Association. Also there is Cosmetic Association, you know. And cosmetic should be halal also. Then I would like also to welcome our panelists from everywhere. First, Rabiuddin Sikoh. Where is Brother Rabiuddin? You are there? Yeah, please.
Yes, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, brother. What time is it in Dubai?
It is noon, 12 p.m.
All right. It's afternoon for you, right? This is coffee time for you. Here in Jakarta, we are it's about 2 o'clock, 2 3, berapa ini? Nggak kelihatan jamnya. And good morning. Good afternoon for you, brother. Thank you for joining this very important, what we call the conference concerning or related with the standard and certification. Before you starting, I think I would like to also greeting to the another speaker from Spain. From Spain, this please from Spain is Madam orang ya, from Spain, Barbara Ruch Bazarno.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Where is?
Jummah Mubarak.
Yeah, I can see your face. Wow.
Greetings from Spain.
Yeah.
From
Buenos
Córdoba.
días. Buenos días, or ¿cómo estás?
Buenos días.
Muchas gracias to join this evening, this conference.
It's a pleasure to join you.
Okay. Then you will exciting to see discussing today. Yes. And of course, I would like also to greeting also my friends Iksan Ofut from Turkey. Iksan, where are you? Yes, he's a big man because he's big. Big also in terms of his function. Secretary General of SMIC. Who are you then, Iksan? Hello, Iksan, who are you? I don't hear you. I didn't hear you.
They unmute. They automatic unmute me. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Okay.
Just reach it.
All right. Good. You are in
No, it's
Istanbul.
okay.
You are in Istanbul or Ankara?
I now in Istanbul in the airport, Istanbul to trip to Saudi Arabia for a meeting.
Thank you for joining. And then, of course, there is also from Pak Sugeng from BSN. Pak Sugeng here. Thank you, Pak Sugeng, for joining this. And of course, there is important also man, my friends, from KNEKS, Pak Abdal. Big hand, he is here. Maybe you can sit here with me, Pak. Since you are also very active in this halal industry. All right, I think we'll start. You know, this event is a very short time. We would like to have more time, but this time is limited. This is about 1 hour. There's a break through session after. And we will start, of course, with Brother Rapi. Brother Rapi, could you give some perspective or how important the halal industry actually in the world? Since halal not only lawful actually, halal is a trend, halal is a brand, halal is not extended services, but halal also is extended income. What is called in Indonesia, halal is not more ngaji pikih, but halal also ngaji sugih, mean this is profitable also halal. Please, brother, you have your time, 10 minutes, you give inside information, especially related with the how important certification and standard for the halal product and services. Brother, please, time for you and screen for you also. Please, please, thank you.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salatu wassalam ala Rasulih al-Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. On this blessed day of Friday, it is a pleasure to discuss such a noble and important aspect of global economy and Islamic economy. I begin, as I begin, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent. And I begin by thanking the organizers, BPJPH, the Bank Indonesia, and other organizers for putting this very important forum together. The topic that I have been assigned to share with you is perspectives on how does the role of standards and regulators and compliance play in realizing the intention of halal economy for the world. As Pasapta you mentioned, indeed, halal economy is a big part of global trade. It is a big part of our economies, but it's also a responsibility, and it's also a source of good and khair to the world. So I share some facts and insights on how you, as the stakeholders of driving halal integrity, not only for Indonesia, but also influencing halal's message and its global social impact through its integrity, through its quality, through its role in bringing fair trade in healthy, wholesome food, farm to fork value chain. The importance of standards and integrity in today's halal economy and trade. If I can have the slides up, am I able to share my slides or?
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you.
Committee can help.
Yes,
Brother Rafi.
I have that.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
I'll start by actually giving you the three answers. So if I bore you in the next few minutes, here are the three key lessons, key messages, key insights that I wanted to share that hopefully, again, you as compliance halal regulators and compliance stakeholders can take from my brief discussion or talk. The three things are, when we look at the global economy today, as you all know, the economies are struggling to come out of the impact of COVID-19 on the overall GDP of the world, and which affects obviously all of our economies collectively. So my key headline to you there is there is good news and bad news, and inshallah more good news, that the world's economy is recovering, and I'll share some of the latest estimates in my slides. But the headline is that both the GDP-wise economies are recovering, and especially trade. When you look at global trade, the trade number of products are actually back to pre-pandemic trade level. And within it, the halal economy sectors are actually doing quite well. So that's number one for you to know. Number two, one of the big challenges, even though we're still recovering as an overall economy, but in the latest IMF projections, October's in fact, latest October projection of how the world is recovering, one of the big issues that they've identified is supply chain disruptions as the cause of not as fast of a growth as they forecasted. So the forecast that IMF has put for global economic growth, one of the reasons for a slight downgrade is supply chain disruptions. This has very strong implications for halal trade. And that leads me to my final point, that today, as you all know, we have been talking about how OIC member countries or Muslim majority countries are not a big part of the top 10 global halal exporters, halal product exporters. And what I will say now as the third and last point is many of the OIC countries, leading with Indonesia, Turkey, and others, have a tremendous opportunity to take advantage of the supply chain disruption and leapfrog and become a prominent player in halal trade exports. So that's the three messages. If you don't hear any of the things I say next, these would be the three most relevant points. And it's a good, hopefully, inshallah, good start to our conversation across the topics of standards and challenges, because the responsibility to you as the halal regulation and compliance and integrity stakeholders is how do you smoothen the path to realize this opportunity for the economy. And so if I can go through some of the slides quickly. Next slide, please. So this is basically GDP projection from IMF. And I have a more latest update that this chart is based on April 2021, but as I mentioned, October data shows that while in 2020 we had a drop in our GDP global, 2021, the latest projection is about 5.9%, a recovery in 2021, and for 2022, they're projecting 5% growth. This is at an overall global economy level. Next slide. And by the way, as you saw from the previous slide, OIC countries were hurt a bit more than the global average as an overall economic impact. Now, when you look at supply chain and production, obviously COVID-19 had the big impact in 2020, where about 7% of production and output was felt throughout the world, which covers many of the OIC countries. So, China fared relatively well. So let's move. And here, what I will say is, from a trade point of view, as I mentioned, the latest UN UNCTAD data projection is that trade in Q1 of 2021 was already at pre-pandemic level. So when it comes to products trade, we're already at pre-pandemic level. So it's a good sign for all of us from that point of view, although trade in services remains substantially below average. Okay, so this is the context. Let's move on. Next slide. And when we look at investments, so during 2020, we estimated about 40% drop in foreign direct investment. However, when it comes to investment, the halal economy sectors fared a lot better. And our data on the annual State of the Global Islamic Economy report showed about a 13% drop of investment in halal-related sectors directly. So investment-wise, the halal sectors did much better. Next, please. Now, this is a very interesting chart. When you look at the top row, we're showing you the countries that are most affected by COVID. So if you look at, besides China, India, US, Brazil, and Russia, and France, these are the countries that are top most affected by COVID. And now these are also the top halal product exporting countries in the world to OIC. What I want to highlight here is my point I shared with you in the beginning. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where the opportunity lies for the halal industry. And I think the importance of halal regulators and stakeholders across the value chain of regulation is to help shift the opportunity towards OIC countries. And especially we are here in Indonesia are presenting on behalf of ISEF. If we look at the opportunity, and I'll go to that next slide now. Let's talk about Indonesia. Some of you may have seen, alhamdulillah, in partnership with IHLC, we produced a new Indonesia-focused halal markets report. This was also supported by Bank Indonesia, and we're grateful. If we go to the next slide, and this report is available from Bank Indonesia site, IHLC, as well as Salam Gateway. But here, if you look at this chart, again, pointing to the opportunity for OIC member countries such as Indonesia, which today is 10th largest exporter of halal products and 2nd largest amongst OIC countries. The export value of halal products from Indonesia, it's still only 3.3% of the global halal product trade. So there's a lot of opportunity to grow, and that growth will be anchored by how the regulators facilitate. We know BPJPH has a tremendous responsibility and tremendous agenda and strategy to improve halal compliance across its products within Indonesia and for enabling export quality. But without that going smoothly, this opportunity that is being created by supply chain disruption will not be realized. So finally, with the last few quick slides, I wanted to show you that within Indonesia, if we go to the next slide, please, you can see a breakdown of production estimates that we have we estimated that the spending of halal market within Indonesia at 184 billion, which represents about 11% of global halal economy spend, out of which food and beverage is the significant portion. So focusing on that from an economic opportunity is key. And I know as stakeholders of halal regulation within Indonesia and from Indonesia, you know the importance of food and beverage. I think I'll just conclude the next point. And one of the great things that we see, if we go to the next slide, please, is that the linkage of Islamic finance to the halal economy, Bank Indonesia being a key supporter of this whole initiative around halal industry, the formation of KNEKS at a national level, the support by the Vice President and the President of Indonesia, coming from the largest Islamic population, Muslim population in the world, is definitely very exciting. As analysts and well-wishers, we not only see the role that Indonesia plays in its own domestic economy, but the opportunity it has to become a role model to the global economy on how Sharia-based, fair and equitable economy can play a role in strengthening the socio-economic status of all our nations. With that, I thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother Rafi, since you have 2 minutes, I would like to elaborate a little more about the, Indonesia has potential of food and beverage and of course motivation to be exporting to the world. Of course, for this one, for the halal food and beverage, there is any drivings from standard and of course also from certification side. How important standard and also certification in order to boost exporting our product? Please, Brother Rafi.
So just to confirm, Pasapta, you're asking specifically about modest fashion only or all of the...
No. You are very interesting with modest fashion. No, food and beverage. Yeah, modest fashion is interesting, but food and beverage is
yes.
bigger, right? $191 million. Please.
Yes. So what the analogy I give is when you all buy laptop, we look for the Intel or a very good chip. So if I use selling of laptop as an analogy, consider the laptop to the food and beverage export product. The Intel inside is the halal certification. So if your main chip is solid, it's reliable, it's credible, then the product will sell very well internationally. But I will also say that equally important is the whole laptop. What is the quality of the laptop, the design of the laptop, the functionality, the software. So both the quality of the exportable product, its marketing, and the Intel inside, which is the chip, which is the halal compliance and certification, are both important pieces to realize this opportunity successfully.
Yes. Thank you, Brother Rafi.
My humble view.
Yes, clear. And then I think thank you very much we give a big hand to Brother Rafi from Dubai. He's a CEO, Managing Director of Dinar Standard. Dinar Standard is the international consultant who published SGA, State Global Islamic Economy Report. And then from that report, many of government, even academicians, quoted all this data and also information. Thank you again, Brother Rafi. Stay tuned with us because you will also have another speaker at the end. I would like to invite Ihsan, my brother Ihsan Ofud. Now screen is yours, Brother Ihsan. And then you have a title, is very important for you, the Global Halal Standard in OIC countries. Please, screen is yours. Hello? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So please. Yeah.
And it's me. Yeah.
It's yours. Yeah. This is yours now.
Yeah, thank
Your
you. Thank you. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Brother Sapta, and distinguished Indonesian brothers and sisters, Excellencies. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam.
I also, first of all, want to thank the Indonesian organizers and invite us to this important event. Annually, they organize. Unfortunately, this year we are still online. Inshallah, next year's we'll be together in physically. With your permission, I will start my presentation. I will shortly give some information about our institutions, and then I will give some information about global halal infrastructure for OIC countries, and then shortly I will introduce our standards for global infrastructure. You know very well what is OIC, no need more detail about this, just shortly say what is CIMIC. CIMIC is a treaty-based and intergovernmental organization and technical and also affiliated to the OIC. CIMIC also is recognized as an international organization, has diplomat status in Turkey. We almost 10 years old organization. Our center is headquartered in Turkey. We are not a certification body. The main objective of CIMIC to prepare the all type standards, include halal standard for all OIC countries. And one of them is to establish a conformity assessment scheme. It means establish a global halal infrastructure for all OIC members and all Ummah, inshallah. We have a new vision and mission restructures, especially we are emphasize the importance of quality infrastructure because for the easy trade, for the remove the technical barriers, we have to have similar system in our countries. Just showing our strategic plan and our new goals, priorities for in this area. Especially, I want to here to mention it for halal accreditation and infrastructure. It says provide a common and internationally recognized platform of halal accreditation based on OIC CIMIC standards for all OIC members. This is shown only our structure. Here is very important. We should have a single standard for a single system. Standardization is not a homework of any institution, is a joint result of all stakeholders from Chamber of Commerce to universities, RDs, NGOs, IGOs. But halal conformity assessment is the very important issues of our, as brother Dinar Standard Chiefs explained about trade and future cooperation in this area. We need standards, we need certification, and then finally we need accreditations. All these need joint standards for free trade. This is a new OIC Global Halal Conference infrastructure. It has been approved by the CIMIC management. All standards will be provided by CIMIC member states and based on consensus. And then the three type category standards we have: one for producers, for services. The second type is for the middle level for conformity assessment, means halal certification bodies, as unique standards for accreditation, and inshallah we will reach mutual recognition. Our slogan is one-time certificate, accept everywhere in all of the world. The new document, new scheme approved by the CIMIC management in June 2021. Here just one the recognition system already we have in many countries. This system refers to basic compliance with the rules set by countries not rely on an international standard or a system, mostly beneficial to the countries. If a country has a recognition national, it means just serve to these host countries, not to others. Via this system, from national recognition, we will move to go to the, inshallah, international accreditation, and finally we will have from fact of work, from customer needs requirements to end user, there will be traceability and standard-based inspections, certifications, laboratory testing, and then all of them be accredited, one-time accredited and accepted everywhere. What is the result of this system? There will be a real traceability and radical increase in consumer trust on halal, inshallah. Mutual recognition of the top target, and there will be diminish in technical barriers trade. Inshallah, we will have a full halal. This is all this for this. We need standards developed by under the technical committees in all over the world, in countries also. In CIMIC, we have 17 committees. Majority is related to halal, but we have some other technical issues also. Plus, we have another committee for on conformity assessment standards for certification and accreditation. This is the project committee, policy committee. All standards need a long trip from a project to be finalized and published. Not easy to adapt or publish standards. You have to have in each level, from the first level to sixth level, you have to have consensus, not a majority, full consensus, and finally we will have real standards. In CIMIC, we all doing all these activities. We are technical system. We say CIMIC information system. All our members has a special username and passwords, and then have right to reach all the document and give the comment. Till now, we published 42 standards. 23 of them is developed by the CIMIC committees. 19 is adopted, but we have important issue. We have 16 halal standards in different area. Here, just want to say something about the Islamic rules in OISM standards for quality infrastructure. We all learn the Sharia rules are just, we are using the internet academics fatwas, not local religious groups fatwas. And standards, we should say standard, not the books. These are there, but they'll include many Islamic rules. Standards in halal fees are for the products subject to consumption and trade among members, Muslims and others, and halal production, certification, and accreditation are added value and trust to the products. Here you just mentioned it, a fatwa from Academy for the quality infrastructure, plus supreme authorities for religious and council in the countries. And we have to have for accreditation and certification bodies. Accreditation and certification shall be owned and directed by Muslim only, and all key person and the decision maker should be only Muslims. This is the fatwas. This is as a lastly, just show our published standards from food, halal food, certification, accreditation, cosmetics, halal tourism services for accommodation, halal supply chain. We have 3 standards.
Brother Isan, could you
going to
make it shorter, please?
Yeah, it's going to finish. Just show the last slide, show the name of standards. And this is my last words. OIC standards are the result of common study and achievement of OIC members and its partners through the technical committees. But it means by member states. Standards are created by members together. Members in the country. CIMIC is the common platform set up for all stakeholders, and the CIMIC halal standards are common standard for the Muslim world and all interested parties. And also thanks for all of you and moderator for giving me a chance to give this presentation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Big hand applause to our brother Isan Rafut. Secretary General of SMIC from Turkey, from Istanbul precisely. Thank you for your insightful information and detail about the standard accreditation and SMIC in OIC countries. I just would like focus on one question, brother. One thing is this. There is I think in all the members OIC, mostly I think, they have own their standard. They have own certification. How you could now to try or you have the result already to have what we call mutual recognition among the members country, mutual recognition or mutual agreement between one certification, the countries to another country certification, or maybe the vision, maybe one integrity certification system in halal product and services. Brother, please, if you have a comment.
Mutual recognition is should be very professional way, not like bilaterally. As in internet, we have to know the international practices. Here, products are traveling. People are not traveling with products. We should give chance to halal food products and halal logos can travel freely without any barriers. How we'll manage it? We will manage it by a mutual agreement, a single agreement, and signed by all parties. This means there should be a pre-assessment by the country to countries, accreditation to accreditations. And then it means not to bilateral agreement, there will be a single MOU and the members will be signatories, like we have in ILAC and IF model, is for all products. It's easy, but we need professional accreditation and we have to be together and country should be cooperative, not be insist their own understanding or on local approaches.
Okay, brother, that's better using through the bilateral for the mutual recognition, or we can do also by SMIC, internationally, because OIC is 57 members countries, right? That's more easily practical one if bilateral, like Jakim with BPJPH and also you in Turkey also with Indonesia, like this.
Rather, this system are national recognition models. These models only serve to the host countries, Indonesia and Malaysia, not to other countries. We are saying a single model, one times approval, but accept everywhere. Okay. This is the international practices.
Okay. Thank you, brother. That's
welcome.
Yeah, make more clear about this mutual recognition, because we have also the experience in ASEAN country. We have some agreement between ASEAN country. I think since also this certification can be global, we need also support from the OIC country, like we call mutual recognition, mutual agreement, that we don't need to be certified and verified by other country if we have our own certification. Okay, we move on to others speaker, yeah, and then I would like to welcome Ming Barbara from Spain. Please, Barbara. Where are you exactly? Yes. In Madrid or in Barcelona?
In Cordoba.
In? Oh, Cordoba. Wow, Cordoba. I have visited one time. Cordoba is Islamic city, right? Many historical background. There's like a very favorite destination for Indonesian Muslim there.
It is.
Cordoba. Wow, that's good. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to thank the organizers, and I'm going to share my screen. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to discuss about accreditation. I think this will complement what Rafi and Mr. Ihsan already said. If I can share my screen.
Please.
Right, so the dream of a single halal standard is not too complicated. Actually, we have already some models working in the world. For example, we have ISO standards. In Europe, we have one single currency, the euro. We gave up our national currency. We gave up ours France gave up the franc and so on, and we share one market. This made things easier for us, and it allowed for growth. So the dream is already something which is true and real and happening elsewhere. So we really should concentrate on really going in this direction and stop trying to play the nationalist card, because how many members of CEMIC are not applying CEMIC standards? I wonder what are they doing in CEMIC at all? If they don't believe in it, they should, go out. But there are, I think, about 20 countries already using CEMIC standards and trading between them without any problems. So we should focus on what is already working. When it comes to halal, for some reason, it looks like we have to reinvent the wheel every now and then. And then some country says, oh, I'll make a new halal standard system, and it's driving everybody else crazy. So let me just give you an example. The first thing I wanted to discuss is why halal matters and why standards matter. Well, it's very simple, because the world has changed. And before the global world, where we live now, it was very simple. Your food was at the reach of your hand and you knew perfectly well what you were eating. But after globalization, we know the thing is not so simple. So we need some kind of controls to make sure that we are eating what we want to eat. So these criteria are set in the standards. As Mr. Ehsan said, the standard is a document, and in the case of CEMIC, it falls under also the consensus of the Islamic Academy. So it covers all of the different sensitivities within the Muslim world. What happens is the consumers cannot trust the food in the supermarket if they don't know what is in the food. So we need certification to be sure what we're eating. But also, certification will help control quality and combat fraud. So certification is a positive thing, but it shouldn't get out of control, right? So who can certify? It needs to be a professional body which is impartial and has no economic or commercial interests, and also unbiased. So certifiers must prove that they're capable to do this assessment, and this is where accreditation comes in place. And I'm saying accreditation and not recognition, which is what we have in some cases, because accreditation is a global concept, and it is already established, and it's not difficult at all to follow. So we must understand every country has already an accreditation body. Probably they are already members of other international forums, so they can already get into practice. There's no need to start creating new structures for halal, because the result is what follows. I'll give you an example of what's the situation. Let's imagine one manufacturer in Spain manufactures, I don't know, chicken sandwiches, and they need to export to 8 different countries. So what happens? This manufacturer needs 8 different standards to comply, to go to this country, to go to this country, to go to this country. And then the halal certification body needs to become accredited or recognized for 8 different standards. Now, the cost of recognition or accreditation is tens of thousands of dollars. If we continue making the halal market more and more complicated, at some point, there will be no chicken sandwiches in the supermarkets, in the destination countries. So another thing is that who is going to pay this excess cost? Is the halal consumer, because the halal certification body will pay it, but it will put up the price. Then the company will put up the price of this particular product. So we're actually taxing halal. These policies are going in the wrong direction. And other risks of this multiplicity of accreditation or recognition systems is that it takes more time and resources, because when we need to be accredited in a halal certification body, you need to receive 18 for a week, visit companies. And then if you need to do this 8 times or 10 times, and there are 57 countries in the OIC, it seems we're not going to be doing any certification at all during the year. We're going to be doing only accreditation and paying for it. And then there are other risks. We have seen some corruption, we have seen bribery, and we have seen from the outside, we're giving such a poor image of Islam. It's like we're fighting each other. Who is the leader in halal? Who has now more taxes on halal imports? It looks like we have to do something about it. Now, this is the ideal. As Mr. Ehsan said, one accreditation, one standard, and it's recognized worldwide. It is recognized automatically. There's no need to negotiate country to country mutual recognition, right? And there's no excess cost, because excess cost will impact everybody, not only halal certification bodies, but also consumers. In the end, it's ourselves. We're going to pay more for the food we need. So we need this system. Also, will have some advantages. We have reasonable time and resources to carry out the accreditation visit. There will be only one. Lower risk of bribery and no risk of exclusion. So we really need to go into this. And the plan, the roadmap to this harmonization, these are just some ideas, but it's like, we really need to do this now, not wait. So the international global approach, not nationalist, not talking to the neighbor, but talking to all the countries in the world. When you look at your supermarket products, they come from Peru, they come from Canada, they come from Finland, they come from everywhere in the world. It's not me and my neighbor, it's a global world, right? So we need one standard which is already harmonized, which is already agreed and adopted by all. We already have SAMIC. Why invent a new system? We already have this one there. It's working in 20 countries. It can be working for the 57 under OIC. And every country has the right to become member and to participate in the making of standards. So we want to trade with as many countries as possible. We don't want barriers, we want open doors. We want unity. We don't need a supreme authority. We don't need, this is the halal authority, so and so, this is the halal authority. No, we don't need authorities. We need agreement. We need consensus. So what we need is a network. We don't need a pyramidal structure. We need a horizontal structure. So we need agreement to join this forum and the minimum technical requirements, and all under the OIC umbrella. We already have the OIC. Don't forget this. No need to invent anything else. And to conclude, so you already have the SAMIC. Very important point that was mentioned is that all the standards are harmonized within the International Islamic Fiqh Academy. So there are one standard fits all the fiqh mazhab. No need to increase the need, no need to point out the differences. The differences are already worked out. The differences are very, very, very small compared to the common ground. So let's not wait anymore, just join it. I mean, now Indonesia recently joined SAMIC. I suppose they're going to take up SAMIC standard and start working on creating more standards and becoming members of this network. So I think this is the path, and I think we really need to do this soon. Otherwise, halal is going to be in real trouble. And that it will not affect only the consumers. It will also affect the growth or the potential growth of the OSCE countries as producers. So that's all from me. Thank you so much. I hope you share some of these ideas.
Yeah. Muchas gracias, Barbara. That's very
muchas gracias.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting,
Terima
insightful.
kasih.
Yeah, sama-sama. Interesting and insightful sharing of your knowledge, experience, and of course, Spain is one of the important country in terms of halal product and industry. I think only once Spain also has, halal port. You can imagine Spain. Only just I would like to emphasize one of your presentation. Sorry to ask you. You have this ideal condition, integrated system on halal certification body. I think this needs some time, right? Or this is only ideal, but it's not realistic one. What do you think? Or
it
we
is.
make it a harmonization? This my question to you.
It's very simple. We follow ISO system. This is what CEMIC has been proposing for years now. For example, in the case of Indonesia, now you are CEMIC members. Are you going to take up CEMIC standard? Are you going to follow CEMIC guidelines? Then you are already connected with 20 more countries. It's very simple. But if you choose, no, I'm going to go for a national system. Well, I'm going to start signing G2G agreements. This will complicate things again. I mean, we really should sit down and think about this because, I mean, everybody, of course, they want to be in control of their system, but then we'll never get the ideal global system.
Okay, that's. I have also one for you because this is interesting also. This is more practical question. Many of industries or players just kept this because certification is considered impact of the money, impact of the budget. That can be, and then the result, the product is not competitive. What do you think? Is it true or it's opposite? That means if you do with the halal certification, with the accreditation, etc., the product is more trusted, product is more healthy, and also more convincing for the consumer, and finally, it's not costly but profitable. What do you think?
Well, I think we have seen many different cases. Serious halal certification obviously bring trust to the consumer and also can help to combat fraud because when you do the testing, you certify that what is there is what is there. I don't know if you remember the Findus meat horses scandal, where some people were selling beef products, but in reality, it contained horse meat. I mean, this is, you know, halal brings more testing, more controls on food, so therefore more quality, more assurance to the customer, but it shouldn't be a tax. We shouldn't put the burden on the consumers. I mean, we are creating too many complex and expensive structures around halal. We should simplify it and go for the model we have. I mean, it works.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I just give example to you. This is a fisherman, friends. I read that. I read all the indicate in the ingredient. There is nothing harmful here, but they still needed logos of halal. Why? To make more confident or more trusted for the customer. And then I just asked to them, after these logos, the consumers increasing. Same thing here in there is traditional medical here, like what anta angin. Anta angin only just herbal and what is madu? What's other?
Vegetarian?
Huh? Spanish? Huh? Honey.
Only
honey. Oh.
Honey.
Yeah,
honey.
I worried but to tell honey because in danger. Honey, Barbara honey, that's different. This is real honey. Okay.
Okay.
They use also the logos. Why? And I found that also for the you know for more comfortable. If there is that one mean halal, we are safe. Not lawful, but safe because it's healthy and safety food and safety traditional medical. Yes, will you agree with me?
Yes, because people need to trust, and they trust that somebody is checking on that producer.
Okay.
Same happens with other logos like vegan logo, organic logo.
Yeah.
I mean, people, they are not in the factories. They cannot go to the factory and see how it is made.
Okay. Thank you. Stay tuned because after this last session, you have a Q&A from international and also national, of course.
Sure. Terima kasih.
Yeah. Terima kasih sama-sama. And then now we would like to invite the fourth speaker is of course from host from BPJPH, I think Pak Muhammad Akil atau siapa yang mewakili akan ngomong? Atau Pak Abdal ya. Jadi Pak Akil nggak bicara, sudah saya di pidato ya. Alright, just there's adjustment for the schedule. I think we have only just 4 and speaker. this is the very important speaker. Is not last but least. No, this is still important and very tough one. My friend Pak Abdal, he's also the director of IKN, one of the director of IKN EKS. He is very active in the halal industry and driving all the things related with halal industry. Pak Abdal, time's yours. You want to use make panggung? Silakan. You want? It's okay. You want sit next to me. Okay, no problem. Silakan Pak.
Thank you, Pak Sabta. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellencies, Minister of Religious Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Yakut Khalil Qomas, Deputy of Governor of Bank Indonesia, Bapak Doni Primanto Juwono, the honorable speakers, our brothers Rafi Ridwin Siko, CEO Dinas Tender, Mr. Isanovud, Secretary General of SMIC, Sister Barbara, President of Halal Instituto of Spain, and Bapak Muhammad Akil Irham, Chairman of BPGPH. Distinguished guests, all participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to start my presentation with the statement, Pak Sabta. It is beautiful to have difference, but differentiation should not stop us together, collaborations, and unity for to serve the Ummah. Okay, let me try to explain what Indonesia government did and continue doing to develop Islamic economy, not only Islamic finance, but also Islamic economy, including halal industry. Next slide, please. Yes. KNEK start from the committee with focusing previously to the Sharia finance, Islamic finance. And then government realized we cannot push the Islamic finance without make a very strong fundamental growth of the Islamic economy. So that's why we do the transformations and keep going to improve our Islamic economy, our halal industry. The focus of KNKS are four: to develop halal industry with the halal value chain in Indonesia, development of Islamic finance itself, and then the third is development the social finance, and last to bring up the business for the Sharia economy. This is collaborations among the ministries and others institutions of Indonesia governments. Next. Okay, I will next slide, please. Yes. In Indonesia regulation, we know the framework of halal already established in our regulation. There is a decree 33. It's about the jaminan produk halal, and then also we enhance this with the decree number 11 about the Cipta Kerja to create more job about this. And then the very important thing is government provides protection for the Muslim consumers. The halal certification must be made easy, not burdensome, and transparent with good and reliable assurance. That's the key. And also we know the potential of this economy is very, very huge. Brother Ravi already explained this. Next slide. And Indonesia want to move not only the consumers. We want to become a producers of the halal product, not only for Indonesia, but also to serve international market for the halal product. Next slide. Yes, but Indonesia is very unique. Indonesia, halal for Indonesia is just like a philosophy already. Everywhere we can find the halal food, and society, people use to be produce the halal food. But we need to move from mainstream of halal to well-organized mainstream 4.0, because with the new technology, new model, we need to bring up our halal producers. Next slide. And this is the new era. We try to strategize how Indonesia halal industry growth. Halal certifications must be easy, transparent, and reliable. And also we need to strengthen the upstream sector. For example, like slaughterhouse, because it's very, very important. It will make easy to do certification if the upstream sector is already certified. And also we want to do the industrializations, not only for the big company or medium enterprise, but also for the small and medium. We want to bring them not only become a producer for national halal product, but also become the exporter. And the very important thing is halal product data integrations. We're just talking about halal standard, we're just talking about the certifications. But sometimes we forgot to integrate these halal certification data with our trade and economy statistic. And how to implement this, we do some job in KNKS with other government entity, and we will launch soon the codification of the halal certifications into the export report. So all the halal producers in Indonesia, when they export the halal product to everywhere in the world, will report and state this halal product already has the certifications. And this data will grow not in Indonesia, but will grow to around the world. So we will start the traceability for our product, for our raw material, for our finished goods, can be used to the next industry. Next. Yeah. For the small and medium business, we know BPCBH already do some job to help business to do certifications. And Indonesia now already has a new model for the UMKM, small and medium enterprise certification. We call that halal declarations. The producer can declare the halal with the we call it pendamping halal to advise the halal product. And next. Yes, also for the slaughterhouse, we want to modernize the slaughterhouse to ensure this slaughter process, halal and the other industry will use the product from slaughterhouse, will be easy to do certifications. Next. And we realize the industrialization is not only for Indonesia. We want to have a connection with other industrial park around the world to connect our industry, to connect the informations. So that's the very important to have a collaborations. And next. And also, yeah, this is the very important things, data integrations. We want the halal data not only stop until the certifications, but we want the halal data will be fileable in the export-import process, will be fileable in the logistic process, will be fileable in the national logistic ecosystem, and also international logistic ecosystem. And we will start to do this from Indonesia. The next. And lastly, we know this is the big job, a lot of homework that we need to be done, and we will continue to create what we call that master plan of halal Indonesia, halal industry. So we hope with this master plan in the future, every ministry, every sectors, every institution in Indonesia can have a clear directions. What are the programs that they will follow, they will implement to bring the halal development in their each areas. Next slide. Yes. With these master plans, provide a clear long-term directions regarding the development of the Indonesia halal product industry. So now we work with this and hope we can launch maybe next year this master plan. So the commitment to become the producers of halal product in the world, I think is on track for Indonesia. And that's our vision. We know from the many, many reports, the important things, Indonesia, not only the sleeping giant, Mas Abta, but now it's already wake up. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I think just one thing, Pak Abdal. I just want to remind again, certification is really helpful or is necessary for the SMEs or all also related with the big company only?
Both. Certification is very important for the medium and big company because their product will be trade not only in a small area but also to other countries, to big regions. So to ensure the halal standard certification is very, very important. But for the micro and small company, we need to have a different concept. Still certifications, but with more light process because we don't want to make them difficult with the certifications.
Because the content also is not sophisticated one, right? More
You're right.
All right. Thank you. I think we now come to the Q&A. Yeah, committee, Pak Zen. I think there is time because in the rundown there is no Q&A, but anyway, there is a Q&A, right? There is no Q&A. No. Okay. I think we are now going to watch a breakout session. Then from this area or from this lounge, we have three of group. Session 1, Session 2, and Session 3. Room 3, Room 1, Room 1, 2, and 3. And there is sub-team in order to elaborate what have been discussing in the plenary. Yeah, international standard for halal certification. And then this is hosted by Pak Kuku. And speaker, there is Pak Emri, Pak Turki. Of course, there is global halal standard. This is Pak Muhammad Chaudhry, and the host is Pak Adi, Pak Gapmi, boss of Gapmi. And Room 3 is a challenge in developing global halal industry. This is Pak Professor Marco Timan as speaker, and Iqbal ni is a host. I think I give to the committee to arrange this breakout session. And I think you would like time to thanks our eminent speaker, right? Brother Rapi, thank you for joining this seminar, for the conference, and also thank you for Brother Iksan Ofud, and of course Sister Barbara joining from Cordoba. I love if I could go again to Cordoba. And then of course Pak Abdal, thank you so much. And inshallah your thought, your share, and your insightful information will be barokah for halal industry Indonesia and global. Thank you, and see you after breakout time. Thank you.
Thank you once again to our moderator today and all the speakers once again, ladies and gentlemen, give a big applause. Ladies and gentlemen, and now it's time for breakout session. Attendees of the dialogue will be divided by 3 groups: authorities, business association, and researchers. Each group will have the discussion with relate resources person led by the host. The sub-themes of the discussion are as follows. Authorities room at Ballroom 3, sub-theme International Standard for Halal Certification. With the speakers, Mr. Emre Kiriçoğlu, Hak Turkey, and with the host, Mr. Sugeng Raharjo, Head of Division for Accreditation of Calibration Laboratory. For Business Associations Room at ASEAN 5, sub-themes Global Halal Standard, Improving Halal Product Compatibilities. Speakers, Dr. Muhammad Chaudhry, President of Ivanka, with the host, Mr. Adi Lukman, Head of GAPMI. And last one, Researchers Room at ASEAN 8, sub-themes, Challenges in Developing Global Halal Industry, with the speaker, Professor Marco Timan, CEO LBB International, with the host, Mr. Iqbal Irfani from IPB University. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, please let's go to the breakout session and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Authorities Room at Ballroom 3. We have Sub-Team International Standard for Halal Certification with the speakers meet Mr. Emre Kiriçoğlu, Hak Turki, with our host Mr. Sugeng Raharjo, Head of Division for Accreditation of Calibration Laboratory. So, Mr. Sugeng, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to see you and welcome you all to the breakout session of the third International Halal Dialogue 2021. Thank you for joining the breakout session. My name is, as mentioned by the MC, that my name is Sugeng Raharjo, and there is a little bit mistake that I am a director of the System of Harmonization of Accreditation of PSN, National Standardization Body of Indonesia. And in this session, I would like to extend an especially warm welcome to our distinguished speaker, Mr. Emre Kiriçoğlu. It is my pleasure to an honor to host you. Mr. Emre is from Halal Accreditation Agency, Republic of Turkey. He will deliver a presentation of the international standard for halal certification. Ladies and gentlemen, and as a little bit background, that currently every country has its own standard of halal, and the consequence of this is to treat halal products among the country, we still need what we call mutual recognition of halal certification to recognize halal certificate from each party. So sometimes to have mutual recognition is not an easy things, and sometimes it takes time to conduct MRA between countries. So as halal trade is going rapidly, we need for an international recognized halal standard to facilitate the trade. So from this point of view, we need to promote the use of international standard to facilitate the trade. So ladies and gentlemen, before we start the session, I would like to go over a few items so you can participate in this today session. If you have a question during the presentation, please type them in the chat box, and I will bring them and deliver during the QA session at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, we will turn the time over to Mr. Emre. You have 15 to 20 minutes of presentation, and we will have QA soon after that. So, Mr. Emre, time is yours.
Thank you very much, dear brother. Good afternoon to all. Greetings and respect to all brothers and sisters on a sunny and chilled morning in Ankara. Today, it's a nice coincidence. 29th of October is the anniversary of the inauguration proclamation of the Republic of Turkey, 98th anniversary of Turkey. And thank you to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to speak against such a professional audience. I will start my presentation, but please could you give me permission to share my slides through Zoom, dear admin.
Please, the
Yes.
committee.
Yeah. There's a sign that says the host disabled participant screen sharing. Please let me share my presentation.
the committee please help to explain the slide?
Yes, it's okay. Thank you very much. Everyone
Thank
can
you.
see my presentation. If it is okay, I'll go on. My name is Emre Kırıcıoğlu. I'm working for the Halal Accreditation Agency of the Republic of Turkey. The Halal Accreditation Agency is an affiliated body to Ministry of Trade, which is established recently, almost 2 years old organization. But let me explain you about the quick facts about HAC. We have nearly 50 expert staff, which some of them are agricultural engineers, chemists, chemistry engineer, food technology engineers, and so on. And we established our IT and physical infrastructures. And from the beginning of the November 2019, we start to receive halal accreditation approaches, halal accreditation applications. Sorry. And until today, we got 48 applications from 20 countries, and there's 8 accreditation decisions, which assures more than 530 halal certificates around the world. And we also signed memorandum of understanding on halal domain with different countries such Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, and there are some ongoing negotiations with other OIC countries and Russia. And also we are organizing technical trainings for professionals around the world. And until today, we organized 10 technical trainings with the participation of more than 300 professionals around the world from more than 25 countries. And we have 3 halal accreditation schemes, which are one for products and services, another for laboratories, and other for personal certification. The halal certification in Turkey is not mandatory, but according to the Turkish Food Codex, food additives regulation, the use of additives obtained from the swine is prohibited. And also, Turkish Food Codex, Food Labeling and Consumer Information Regulation, if the food contains any substance derived from pork, beside additive, the expression contains that product derived from swine. And also for beverages containing more than 1.2% alcohol by volume, the actual alcoholic strength by volume must be included on the label. And there are more than 50 certification bodies operating in Turkey that issue halal certificates according to the accreditation and recognition approaches. From the governmental side, if it is determined that the products claiming to be halal are not, which are not halal, the government consider this adulteration during the market surveillance made by the competent authority for food and beverages, which is Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry. Penal sanctions are applied by the relevant authorities. And as a recent development, Turkey also will seek the halal certificate, which has been issued by the conformity assessment bodies, those of which are accredited by HAC for meat imports. And Turkey itself does not prepare halal standards. Our standards, which are harmonized standards prepared by CIMIC, and makes it a national standard. I will start, and although halal certification is not compulsory in Turkey, the use of, the standard, I want to start with the etymology of the word of standard. The word of standard is come from the Old French. It means the flag or other conspicuous object to serve as a rallying point for a military force. But modern definition by International Standardization Organization, standard is a document established by consensus and approved by a recognized body that provides for common and repeated use, rules, guidelines, or characteristics for activities or their results aimed at the achievement of the optimum degree of order in a given context. Standards are voluntary agreements developed within an open process that gives all stakeholders, such producers, manufacturers, service providers, consumers, including regulators, the opportunity to take, express their views, and have those views considered. This contributes to their fairness and market relevance and promotes confidence in their views. All parties benefit from standardization through increased product safety and quality, as well as lower transaction costs and prices. And this slide is essential for my presentation, because we can see in different parts of the world, they are saying, yes, we have halal standard, but the modern way of definition and modern way of understanding the standards are voluntarily and developed within an open process with the participation of all stakeholders. And what standards bring to us? It facilitates the trade, it enables information to be encoded, creates a common language between different economic actors, and increases the quality of the products and services, and promotes transparency and fairness, builds trust between partners, and assures customers about the quality, compatibility, and performance of products and services. And standards also are sources of competitiveness, reflects the state of art, promotes the spread of innovation, allows the development of new markets while leveraging widely recognized references by all stakeholders. And also standards ensures quality and safety of the product and services, guarantees a certain level of quality of the products and services regardless of time and place, and also allows to manage the security and risk of products and services. There are some standardization organizations across the globe, for example, and in different levels. For example, in international level, there is ISO, IEEC, ITU for telecommunication equipments, and CIMIC for halal standards. And there are some other standardization organizations which are based on regional level, like CEN, Senelec, or GSO, CN from Europe, GSO from Gulf Cooperation Organization. And also, every country has their national level standardization organization. For example, for Turkey, we have Turkish Standardization Institute. And from the last quarter of the last century, the halal certification became an important domain, because the food and consumer products have become more sophisticated, and the origins of additives and ingredients make even traditional products questionable in terms of halal. And people start to ask, what is its source, or foods and products, and is the source is halal? And for overcome those questions, the halal certification system arises around the globe. And I can summarize three different ways of halal certification system. One is accreditation, like another domains of the quality infrastructure, and recognition. For example, the JAKIM in Malaysia is a governmental agency which recognizes the halal certification bodies, and some organization of halal certification bodies, the common certification scheme of halal conformity assessment bodies. When we look more in detail the recognition approach, we can see that the halal certification bodies are authorized under the rules or schemes or programs or standards created by a governmental authority establishing the system, and are inspected by the state authority. And this recognition approach is not a mechanism that operates globally, and in terms of its operation, also it differs from the general standardization practices that operate based on standards prepared by international consensus of all stakeholders. It's as a historical process, they operate at the local or regional level to meet a specific need or to achieve an economic goal. Inter-halal conformity assessment body certification system. In this scheme, certification bodies or governmental bodies authorizing those certification bodies recognize each other through the rules they set among themselves. And this approach is not intergovernmental and not based on the global harmonized standards. And the main goal is to ensure that certification bodies have a common certification program so that they can outsource each other, or, for example, a certification body which is part of this kind of recognition system certificates some products, but there are some additives in that product which is certified by another halal conformity assessment body which is established in another country. And these organizations are applying, they say, same rules to be sure about the halalness of those kind of products and their additives or their components. And this fragmented structure of the halal certification in the world, you know, there's a one halal in the word of Allah in Quran, but there are some different halal approaches. And those different halal approaches cause the multiple halal certification of one product or service for different markets, as well explained in her presentation, Ms. Bejarano. And there is a plenty of the diversity or confidence diminishing cacophony between that. And these downsides of the highly fragmented structure for producers, which cause extra costs, extra time and overhead, and for consumers, confusion and erosion of confidence. And standards become, rather than facilitate trade, to technical barrier to trade. And what are the problems arising from the current situation? The financial burden, and without accreditation or recognition, there are some fraud and adulteration. Here you can see from the booklet of supermarket in North America, there's a ground pork meat which is sealed as halal because there is no organization who controls the halal domain. And also some website shows that there are some articles about the high cost in halal certification. And what is the solution of those problems? The solution is establishing a system which is based on harmonized standards. In every presentation that I make, I put this slide because I think it's well explained what is the situation. There are some different halal conformity assessment systems around the world, and there are some attempts to establish a recognized different halal certification scheme. But for me and for most of the professionals from the sector, the best solution is the harmonized halal scheme. When we talk about the standardization is enough for the publishing standards and giving people to apply, or building quality infrastructure. Building quality infrastructures is one of the pillars of the establishing a halal system around the world, and it comes with the accreditation. Before I go further, I want to summarize the technical definitions, because I know that many of the people are confused with the concept of what is standard, what is technical regulation, what is accreditation, what is conformity assessment. I explained before what is standard. The technical regulation is a government document that lays down product characteristics or their related process and production methods, including the applicable administrative provisions with which compliance is mandatory. It may also include or deal exclusively with terminology, symbols, and packaging, marking, or labeling requirements as they apply to a product, process, or production method. And no consensus is necessary for the establishment of the regulation. For example, you can put in a force a standard or CIMIC standard or another national standard as technical regulation, and it makes a technical regulation putting in a force applying mandatory. This is the essential difference between the standard and technical regulation. And the conformity assessment is the name given to the process that are used to demonstrate that a product, service, or management system or body meets specified requirements. When applied to product, it involves testing to an established performance standard, as well as inspection, quality management, surveillance, accreditation, and declaration of conformity. And what is accreditation? Because in my daily life at the office, I'm hearing some words. Yeah, we have accreditation from that agency, but I know that agency is not a public authority or accreditation body which operates based on an accreditation standards. The accreditation, it is a public activity related to the determination and the official acceptance by a national accreditation body of a conformity assessment body that it meets the requirements set by the relevant national or international standards in order to fulfill a specific conformity assessment activity, and where applicable, the additional requirements stipulated in the relevant sectoral regulations. After those definitions, how we build a blocks of a quality infrastructure. At the top, there's halal accreditation bodies. Their competence is ensured through the peer evaluation between them and the mutual recognition agreement they assessed the halal conformity assessment bodies. And halal conformity assessment bodies, they audit conformity of products and services to the international standards, for example, ISO, Gulf standards, or CIMIC standards. And there are producers and service providers, they apply those standards and technical regulations imposed by the governments. And consumers act in the framework of legal rules and their own preferences. And halal conformity accreditation bodies accredited by accreditation bodies, and conformity bodies assessed or audit producers and service providers based on voluntarily applied standards or technical regulations which are imposed by the government. And this quality infrastructure system covers essential aspects such as policy, institutions, service providers, and the value-adding use of international standards and conformity assessment procedures. The quality infrastructure system covers essential aspects with that, contributing to governmental policy objectives in areas including industrial development, trade competitiveness in global markets, the efficient use of natural and human resources, food safety, health, the environment, and climate change, and so on. It offers a complete package addressing the needs of the nation's citizens, of customers and consumers, and of enterprises and other organizations that offer them products and services. The quality infrastructure system covers essential aspects such as the quality, as I say before, institutions and service providers. And the accreditation is a process by which an authoritative body gives the formal recognition that a body or person is competent to carry out the special task within this framework. And why accreditation matters? A survey was carried out in 2018 by UCAS, which is National Accreditation Body of the United Kingdom, and to capture the feedback on the value of accreditation for conformity assessment bodies that have stable scopes in established technical sectors. It confirmed that these businesses derive both internal and external commercial benefit from their accredited status. And 93% of the respondents agree that the accreditation provides confidence to their customers and stakeholders. And 76% agree that accreditation differentiates them from their competitors. And 85% agree that accreditation improves the quality and validity of their works. 71% agree that accreditation helps them to win new or main existing business. And thus, accreditation delivers public confidence, minimizes product failure or recalls, and prevents dangerous outbreaks. When we focused on the halal accreditation system, the halal accreditation system will contribute to the development of a more united, modern, and powerful Islamic economy. It will diminish the financial burden or businesses affected by the fragmented halal structure, and it will be a driving force for the constitution of a modern quality infrastructure, and it will facilitate halal trade globally through a mutual recognized system of halal certificates. But I'm talking about the mutual recognized recognition of accreditation of the halal conformity assessment bodies, not the certificates. And through accreditation, it will give credibility to the halal certificates globally. But based on which standardization approach the system will be established? Shall be prepared at international level, and also participation of all stakeholders. And the text of the standards shall be clear and easy adaptation and application by all parties, and adheres to Sharia rules and technical requirements around the world. If there is a system based on these ideals, and this is the SMIC approach, and 57 OIC members, 42 of the 57 OIC members are CIMIC members, and there are 3 observers: Bosnia and Herzegovina, Russian Federation, and Thailand. Although CIMIC is a relatively newly established standardization organization, it gained a favor of OIC member countries in a short period, and number of members reached to 42. By the way, I wanted to express my satisfaction that Indonesia, the world's most populous Muslim country, is included in CIMIC from the beginning of the 2020, which is most populous Muslim country in the world. And it will give more force to CIMIC when it operates. When we look to the CIMIC organization charts, CIMIC works as a functional standardization organization with all its organs. And there are some technical committees which are halal food, halal cosmetics, halal services, halal tourism, agricultural products, logistics, leather and tanning, textiles, halal supply chain, halal management system, and terminology, and halal pharmaceuticals. And those technical committees are attended by the standardization organizations of the member countries. In addition, non-CIMIC member countries and non-governmental organizations have the opportunity to convey their views or contributions and proposals to the technical committees through the CIMIC General Secretariat. When we look to the standards which are published by the CIMIC with the participation of the OIC member countries.
Can you faster, please?
Yes. There is a standard for food, for halal certification bodies, halal accreditation bodies, cosmetics, and places where halal food and beverages are prepared and stored, tourism, supply chain, quality management, edible gelatin, food additive certification scheme, bodies operating certification of person, the competence of laboratories, and proficiency testing. And based on, there are 2 parts. One is the Islamic rules, which are based on the International Islamic Fiqh Academy, and Mr. Ihsanoğlu explained what's of the pillars of the Islamic Fiqh Academy. It bears all requirements of all Islamic scholars or mazhabs. And then rest of the technical provisions are based on the international standards. The main difference from other accreditation approaches is the accreditation body must be established in OIC member country, administration and employee shall be Muslim. And I want to say at the end of my presentation, from the beginning, I said the standard is coming from a banner, etymologically. I want to invite you to gathering under one standard to facilitate trade and to gain consumer confidence around the world, and to serve to Ummah in better way. Thank you very much to all for your patience.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Emre. I hope you all enjoying the presentation, and we will go ahead to take some time for Q&A. Are there any questions in chat box? No? It looks like there is no question from chat box, so I will move to maybe anyone in the room, in the Zoom meeting, who's was what?
Yes.
Please raise hand, picture. No? Okay.
There's a question in chat box from
Ah.
Sister Ana Saleh. Dear Emre, thank you for the presentation, and first of all, happy anniversary. Sorry. Is it possible? What are the differences of every nation halal system that cannot be merged? Because I believe religion-wise halal reference will be Quran and Hadith. If different halal standards are with regard to the trade regime in every nation, is not it logical to create special working group under World Trade Organization, because from agreements up to the disputes are regulated there? What is your view, Emre? Thank you, Sister Anna. Yes, for example, I explained the difference between the standard and technical regulation. For example, the legislation that imposed in 2014 in Indonesia, which is technical regulation, is not standard. And those 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, April of 2019, the European Union asked to Indonesia through World Trade Organization what is the intention of that law, and they said yes, every country can implement those kind of technical regulation, but they need clear definition. And I think our Indonesian brothers explained very well to them. This is not the problem, because there are from the point of trade, there are consumers that demand, for example, vegan products, and another consumers demand halal certified products. As a government, you have to assure that the confidence of your consumers through national legislation. You can implement an international standard, you can implement your national standard, but the better way of facilitate the trade and the gaining consumer confidence is the implementation of international standards with the participation of all stakeholders, all countries and all sectors and service providers and producers and manufacturers. This is the essential point. And I don't know, Mr. Isanovic is with us, but there's an attempt to affiliate membership of CIMIC as International Standardization Organization to to World Trade Organization. I hope we will solve our problems within a couple of years as all Muslim world, and we will trade between us with under the umbrella of one halal certification scheme.
Thank you, Mr. Irmi. And there is another question, but in Indonesian.
Indonesian.
I'm sorry, I really can't read the question. Okay, I will try to translate to you that the question is from Mr. Lubris from the Police Department of Indonesia, I think. This is right now, he is in the middle of the research of the certification of Indonesia is according to the law number 33 to 2014, with the existence of BPGPH and LP upon MUI, I think this is the question is actually not to you. How about the recognition of the foreign halal certification today?
Yeah.
I think the
Yes.
from BPGPH is the right person to answer this. And number two is for a certification body, a foreign certification body that is recognized as there is a problem with that. Is there any extension of recognition from ULEMA, MUI, Majelis Ulama of Indonesia?
Yeah.
I think this is also please from BPGPH to help me answer this question too.
Yes, because I'm not familiar with the. I'm aware of the existence of the BPGPH and the regulatory body in Indonesia on halal domain, but I'm not sure about that. Maybe please let me explain about the CIMIC approach that we are doing. In last June, the board of directors of CIMIC, the president is from Saudi Arabia with the participation of 13 countries, 12 countries from CIMIC. They decided to establish and designated structure which will be deal with the peer evaluation and the mutual recognition between accreditation bodies of OIC countries.
Okay, thank you, Imre. And the last one is, I think, before we finish, I think there is one question from Anna Saleh. Would you confirm that Turkey is the preparation of signing G2G with the Indonesian government? Please confirm.
Yes, and the Indonesian ambassador to Turkey visited our institution, and we signed memorandum of understanding, not the mutual recognition agreement, because first we have to establish a working system under the CIMIC rules, and we signed those memorandum of understandings with other countries such Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and there are some ongoing negotiations with other countries. And I think next week in Saudi Arabia, we will sign a memorandum of understanding with Nigeria, which is also one of the biggest Muslim countries in the African continent. And it's all mutual recognition, all memorandum of understanding is based on the sharing our experience and knowledge and our expertise. Then when this under the CIMIC, when designated structure established, inshallah, we will start to recognize our accreditation activities through terms of reference, which will be prepared by the OIC member states. In some audience, they consider CIMIC is a Turkish organization. CIMIC is not Turkish organization. CIMIC is OIC organization which is established in Turkey. But we are members, and sometimes we have some proposals, and Turkey's proposals are rejected sometimes by other countries. I think the establishing an international organization is the fairer way of preparing standards, instead of prepare our national standards and impose to other countries.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Emre. I think that concludes our discussion for this meeting, on this session. And thank you for Mr. Emre for answering all the questions and the presentation. And thank you also to everyone for being here with me. And I was being pleasure being with you today. Thank you for attending the meeting, and I hope that you have learned and enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear brother. Again, I want to say to Selamun Alaikum to all my brothers and sisters around the world, especially in Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to wrap-up session. This session will be led again by Mr. Sapta Nirwandar. So, Mr. Sapta Nirwandar, please come to the stage. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, give a big applause for Mr. Sapta Nirwandar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah kita sudah menyelesaikan acara kita. I want to use my mother tongue bahasa Indonesia because I have my friend Ibu Tia inside of this box for the interpreter. She's English better than me and iya, Mbak Tia dan Mbak Tuti ya. Alright, Mbak Marlinda, sorry. Saya panggil dari grup pertama, Bapak Kukuh Ahmad. Mari Pak Kukuh, dari BSN. Silakan Pak. Dan yang kedua, Pak Adi Lukman. Mana Pak Adi? Masih diskusi. Oke. Pak Adi still discussion and of course saya mengundang Bapak Kukuh untuk menyampaikan. Silakan Pak. Gimana tadi dengan speaker dan juga teman-teman dari Turki, please. In English.
Terima kasih. Thank you, Mr. Sabta Nirwanda. So I would like to wrap up our discussion in the session of authority that the increasing trade of halal products involve many things in trade such as halal certification, halal accreditation, and standard. So strong quality infrastructure is a prerequisite of mutual recognition. We need recognized accreditation body, recognized accredited certification body, and also the most important thing is harmonized scheme of certification. So that's a must to have Indonesia to ease the trade and to facilitate the trade of products to Indonesia to export and vice versa. I think that's the most important from our session, Mr. Sabta. Thank you.
Baik Pak Kukuh, I think ini sesuatu kesimpulan yang sangat menarik ya, dan juga tidak hanya menarik tapi penting dan sangat strategik agar sertifikasi itu difasilitasi dan juga punya harmonisasi dengan pihak luar, terutama untuk negara yang kita ingin mengekspor atau juga kita ingin mengimpor. Itu tambahan dari saya. Tapi esensinya adalah sertifikasi itu sangat strategik dan untuk menjual produk-produk kita keluar. Sebetulnya tadi juga dibahas pada waktu sesi plenary, kenapa sih butuh sertifikasi? Karena produk sekarang itu tidak mudah untuk dilihat oleh masyarakat konsumer. Jadi paling tidak ada zat aditif, ada campuran yang tidak bisa gampang lihat kasat mata. Nah itu juga dalam rangka melindungi kita dari hal-hal yang Muslim konsumen tidak inginkan, tentunya dengan sertifikasi, dengan standarisasi dan juga yang diakui oleh lembaga sertifikasi BPJPH dalam hal ini dalam MUI, itu menurut saya satu hal yang sangat esensi untuk kita bisa mendorong ekspor kita. Baik, dari kelompok 2, siapa sudah datang? Silakan. Dari Pak Adi ya? Ya, silakan Pak Adi. Tenang aja Pak Adi. Don't worry, you still have time. Pak Adi. Karena ini didengar dari yang online, juga global, silakan Pak. Dan juga ada teman-teman wartawan di sini. Baik Pak Adi, apa yang Bapak diskusikan dan hasilkan dan menjadi kesepakatan dengan tim 2 atau di ruangan 2 mengenai Global Halal Standard, Improving Halal Product Compatibilities. Silakan Pak Adi.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Sabta Nirwanda, moderator, Pak Sugeng dan Bapak Ibu semuanya. Ini bahasa Indonesia ya?
Bahasa Inggris Pak bisa, bahasa Indonesia bisa, Bapak bisa duanya.
Oh,
karena kita punya
ada interpreter ya?
Sama Mbak Melinda yang sangat.
Oke, tadi mohon maaf ada sedikit trouble di technical karena ini biasa online ada masalah, jadi agak sedikit terlambat. Jadi di sesi breakout room kita bahas tadi, pembicara adalah Dr. Muhammad Qaudri, Presiden dan CEO dari Ivanka, membahas mengenai realizing the importance of global halal standard.
Tadi mohon kalau bisa jelaskan Ivanka itu apa Pak?
Ivanka
kalau nggak salah di Amerika ya Pak?
Amerika. Jadi Ivanka itu Islamic Food and Nutrition Council of America, Ivanka. Jadi Ivanka ini merupakan salah satu pionir di halal compliance standard di Amerika. Dan tadi Dr. Qaudri menyampaikan bahwa untuk improving conformity halal product itu membutuhkan involvement dari semua stakeholder, termasuk industrinya sendiri, halal authority, halal certifier body, dan consumers. Consumers itu juga sangat penting di dalam conformity tersebut. Disampaikan oleh Dr. Qaudri bahwa industri itu merupakan global supplier dan membutuhkan global acceptability untuk produknya. Dan tentunya selama ini industri mengalami banyak masalah, terutama di dalam regulasi yang berbeda di tiap-tiap negara dan juga certification body-nya. Dan tentunya butuh solusi untuk global standard. Dan di dalam perjalanannya ternyata ditemukan banyak sekali standar-standar yang berbeda, dan untuk itu dibutuhkan common standard yang bisa digunakan oleh semua pihak. Dan ini juga dibutuhkan peranan dari accreditation body. Ya. Dan salah satu contoh yang diharapkan oleh Dr. Qaudri menuju common standard itu misalnya produk yang benar-benar sebenarnya halal, ya, inherently halal. Ini sangat dibutuhkan sebagai common standard, atau minimal proses dari plant material yang tidak mengandung unsur dari hewan dan lain sebagainya. Ya. Kemudian diperlukan juga bagaimana basis dari global standard tersebut untuk bisa dipakai oleh industri. Dan tentunya tadi Dr. Qaudri juga menyampaikan perlu adanya penyamaan persepsi tentang slaughterhouse dan derivatif produk dari hewan, dari meat, poultry, dan lain sebagainya, yang mengandung gelatin dan lain sebagainya. Dan tentunya di beberapa negara ada antara Muslim slaughterman dan non-Muslim slaughterman misalnya, ini juga menjadi perbedaan. Kemudian hand slaughter dan machine slaughter, kemudian traditional cut versus modified cuts, atau non-stunning versus stunning, ini juga membutuhkan persamaan persepsi agar tidak menyulitkan di industri. Dan isu-isu lain yang disampaikan oleh Dr. Qaudri terkait dengan country-based restriction, G2G restrictions, unreasonable restriction, dan juga halal logo atau label halal. Dan untuk itu diharapkan ada endorsement dari halal certification bodies untuk meningkat based on kompetensi dan credibility, documented procedure, oversight, dan training, dan juga establish common endorsement systems. Dan sebagai konklusi usulan dari Dr. Qaudri, halal authorities ini harus punya meng-create global standard based on non-meat products. Jadi global standard based on non-meat products. Ya mungkin maksudnya adalah positive list seperti itu ya. Dan juga adanya global logo. Diusulkan adanya global logo, dan accreditation body and certification body bisa create common endorsement system. Jadi 3 hal yang diusulkan oleh Dr. Qaudri. Seperti itu. Mungkin ini dari sesi saya. Terima kasih.
Mari kita tepuk tangan. Saya rasa itu sangat
sangat ini banget ya, sangat maju, advance, dan juga sangat detail, dan itu yang dihadapi sekarang oleh masyarakat dunia, terutama di dalam soal halal industri, apalagi Pak Adi ini Ketua Asosiasi Makanan dan Minuman, terutama makanan yang meat product. Karena meat product itu hulunya tadi itu, cara motong, ya Pak. Bahkan saya pernah bertemu dengan komunitas yang punya dua perbedaan pendapat. Satu, yang paling pas itu hand slaughtering. Satu yang bilang nggak apa-apa karena ada 5.000 ayam jadi machine slaughtering by machine. Nah ini yang memang ini bagian Departemen Agama nih untuk mencari solusi yang terbaik di acara-acara yang berkelas musyawarah. Nah, ini harus kelasnya Dewan Suro nih, ya Pak dia. Yang berikutnya tadi disebut juga stunning. Ini juga ada dua pendapat. Itu juga ilmu hewan juga itu. Yaitu adalah apakah boleh sebelum dia dipotong supaya nggak ngamuk seperti kalau Idul Adha tuh banyak sapi ngamuk. Nah itu ditembakkan di kepalanya dengan bius yang tertentu sehingga dia agak setengah pingsan. Ya, tapi tidak pingsan. Kalau pingsan katanya nggak boleh, setengah pingsan. Jadi antara sadar seperti kita dioperasi, baru dipotong. Nah katanya kalau yang ini dia husnul khotimah. Tapi kalau yang sakit, nah ini dia masih belum lewat. Tapi ada juga yang dengan doa. Nah ya Pak Di, nah, ini jadi perdebatan juga. Oleh karena itu ini juga menjadi catatan untuk di kelas global ini dari Pak Hudri ya Pak ya. Nah ini yang berikutnya. Kenapa? Nah yang berikutnya adalah non-meat. Nah ini non-meat itu yang vegetable. Ya ini juga sekarang kan tadi saya contohin Pak. Antangin aja itu kan nggak ada meatnya di situ Pak. Blend. Tapi pasangin halal juga tuh. Saya peminum misalnya. Saya peminum itu antangin yang biru maupun yang kuning karena di COVID-nya ajaib juga tuh Pak, menyembuhkan juga anti COVID. Ya ketemu Pak Adi berapa kali juga pakai anti angin juga aman. Nah itu herbal, tapi tadi dari Pak Udri ada list, positive list mengenai non-meat. Nah ini kan menurut saya hari ini sesuatu kemajuan di bidang halal industri ini bagus banget hari ini. Dan tadi juga dari Pak Kukuh mengenai standar, bagiannya dia tuh BSN. Nah, standar. Memang standar ini juga tidak mudah ya, tapi harus diupayakan, apalagi tingkat global. Yang paling mudah standar adalah untuk baju laki-laki. Kalau yang gemuk kayak saya, double XL. Kalau Pak Adi apa? L. Pak Kukuh S kalau Pak Kukuh. Langsing. Sebetulnya yang L itu saya, langsing 2 kali. Kalau ini langsing aja atau langsung. Tapi kalau sudah bicara standar yang global, nah ini untuk yang lain ini memang perlu ada harmonisasi, harus ada perundingan. Ya gitu ya Pak ya. Itu yang bisa saya simpulkan dari grup 2. Tapi ini hari bagus banget dan saya senangnya juga kata hadis diurus oleh ahlinya. Standar diurus oleh Pak Kukuh, yang urusan setiap hari standar. Ya, kalau standar itu sama aja timbangan ya Pak. Nah, jadi supaya timbangannya korek. Pak Adi urusannya halal food dan beverage karena dia adalah ketua asosiasi Mamin. Nah ini tentunya akan menjadi peluang dan juga Indonesia tadi dari panelis sangat-sangat diharapkan karena Indonesia bisa mempengaruhi dunia ini. Karena dia adalah the biggest consumer untuk food industry. Ya betul Pak dia. Bayangin 216 dulu, sekarang 202 billion dollar, bukan rupiah. Jadi itu Pak Mas Tuki ya. Karena saya nggak lihat pakai itu, pakai kopiah sama pakai itu jadi nggak kelihatan Bapak. Pak Mas Tuki, itu kiainya, saya nggak berani salah ngomong. Kalau dia urusannya ngajinya pikir Pak, kalau saya sugih, ya, urusan pikir dia tanya tuh. Baik itu dari 2 ya. Mungkin juga kalau ada audiens yang mau menambahkan dari kesimpulan tadi, tapi kelihatannya sudah, iya dari 2 ada. Kalau tidak ada kita berlangsung ke grup 3. Grup 3 ini dipimpin oleh Bapak Dr. Iqbal Irfani, teman saya dari Institut Fleksibel banget. Salah, Institut Pertanian Bogor maksud. Mari Pak
Kasih, Pak
Iqbal di
Sabta.
mana?
Ya, di sini Pak, di sini. Kedengaran Pak ya?
Oh, you online ya?
Mohon maaf saya.
Oh, ya tahu saya dari Bogor, ya. Manggi Pak Iqbal, mari Kang, ayo.
Ya,
Mangga.
siap. Ini bahasa Inggris, bahasa ini Pak.
Bahasa Inggris saja kalau di situ. Kalau mau bahasa Indonesia juga ada interpreter kita itu bahasanya keren banget Mbak Tia itu. Jadi kalau saya nggak berani kalau ada dia. Silakan.
Thank you Pak Sabta for your time ya.
Ya, silakan.
Let me to wrap up the result of breakout room 3 ya. It consists of Professor Timon's presentation and also discussion ya. Professor Timon's discussion titled Challenge in Developing a Global Halal Industry highlight 3 important challenges in developing a global halal industry. The first aspect is in the context of halal industry, as OIC countries are dependent on global imports, meaning that OIC countries are net importers. In addition, halal production clusters in these regions is also lacking. Production of halal is also fragmented, limiting innovation and strategies. Harmonization of halal standards is also lacking, Pak, and it restricts global halal trade. Finally, lack of branding on halal on agricultural commodities, ingredients, also additives, also like okay. It is about the halal industry. The second one is about halal supply chain. In this halal supply chain issue, there has been a poor communication of halal status or halal supply chain code on freight documents, cargo labels, and also custom system. There is also a lack of synergy between synergy advantages through vertical and horizontal collaboration in supply chain networks. Ports and shippings are critical missing link in this context. The third challenging issue is about halal value chain. The first challenging issue is about simplification, as Timon mentioned. In this regard, we need to simplify halal production, supply chains, and value chains through halal clusters. The second challenge is about connection. In this regard, we need to connect halal clusters through a halal cluster network. So it's the network, yeah. The third challenging issue is about financing. Islamic finance will need to far bigger role in the halal value chain. Lastly, because it is about SDGs, regulation on SDGs require the use of recycled packaging by the halal industry. Perhaps it is in the context of tayyib, yeah, not only halal, but also tayyib. The main conclusion, the clear message from our chat room, or our room, is that OIC countries need to increase their role in halal value chain and protect global halal trade by harmonization of halal standards. To address this challenge, we propose the following policy recommendation. I think I can share the recommendation.
Pak Iqbal, bisa dengar?
Yeah.
Yes, I think this interesting one. You introduce something new, that the transformation from normally halal supply chain from downstream to up. Yeah, please. From downstream to upstream, then from farm to fork. Now you want to transform to what you call halal cluster. Can you or could you elaborate a little bit more? What's the difference that's two halal supply chain? Because we know halal supply chain is we call this from farm to fork, from downstream to upstream, or from end to end. Please.
Yes, I think I just continue to the policy recommendation. Yeah, Professor Timin will also add my summary. The policy recommendation is incorporation of halal value chain management in halal production and services standard. The second one is adoption of OIC SMIC halal standards by OIC and non-OIC countries to ensure effective and efficient global halal trade. The third recommendation is revision of OIC or SMIC 17 to 2020 on halal value chain management system standard, from a management to a process standard. We have to have a process standard, yeah. And the last one is introduction of new OIC SMIC standards, namely halal value chain standard, halal cluster standard, and halal recycle packaging standard. That's all from our room. I think perhaps Professor Timan can add answer, particularly from Pak Sapta regarding the how to increase from POM to is Professor Timan is also here?
Yes, thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Iqbal.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Sapta.
Yeah. How are you? How are you? Dank u wel.
Very well.
Yeah.
Very well. Safe in Malaysia.
Yeah.
It's a great honor.
No, you don't speak English. Maybe better you speak Bahasa, please.
Tidak bagus bahasa Indonesia. Sedikit sahaja.
Okay, then okay. Continue in English. Thank you.
Yeah, so your question, Dr. Sapta, was about how to move from a halal supply chain to a halal value chain. And Indonesia, I'm very pleased to share with you that Indonesia is already at stage 3 of the halal supply chain. And also the vision of the vice president is to integrate the halal supply chain, moving Indonesia to stage 4, the halal value chain. And to move to stage 4 of the halal value chain, we need to create halal clusters. And Modern Halal Valley has been the first halal cluster developed in Indonesia, which is world leading, which is not only creating a cluster in Indonesia of 500 hectares, but also took the initiative to connect Indonesia halal clusters with overseas halal cluster, like including Spain even. With Dr. Barbara, she has been supporting Indonesia to connect the halal clusters together. So one thing I think is we need to develop halal clusters in OIC countries. That's one. We need to connect those halal clusters to both OIC and non-OIC countries. We also will need to support the OIC SMIC halal standards. And the only way to boost Indonesia as global halal hub and to boost international halal trade is that we are referring to one standard. The problem now with the COVID-19 crisis, that we have seen a failure of supply chains, including halal supply chains. Mr. Rafi was very positive that the worst was behind. I'm not very sure about that. I'm still very concerned that we need to improve our halal supply chains very urgently. We are too dependent on non-OIC countries for our supplies. Thank you.
Thank you. This is very insightful information that we move on or transform from halal supply chains and then our number was Sharifo or what we call the cluster, to the cluster, higher halal supply cluster. Yeah, that more efficient, I think. Yeah, Dr. Timan, it's more efficient and effective to the cost, or only just because they infected from technology?
If I may, Dr. Sapta, so the clusters provide synergy advantages, meaning lower cost. It also will help in creating innovation, so to create new products and to better control halal value chains by OIC countries, like raw materials, ingredients, and additives.
Okay.
In fact,
thank you. I think next to me, there is Pak Lukman. He's chairman of the what we call Food and Beverage Association. Pak, you want to ask something?
Yes, Dr. Timan, how are you? Long time no see.
Very well.
I think I agree with your thought that we need to build halal clusters, and then under the halal cluster, there are industrial park, halal industrial park, and also integrated process for halal in the area. I think this is to make it more efficient and effective for halal certification process, etc. Okay, thank you, Dr. Timan.
Okay, I think if I just give a chance also in the this room, if you have any suggestion to this very interesting and very fruitful and also very strategic discussion in the group 3 breakout in our program today, especially related with the halal standard and halal certification, and I think many things really new one adapted with the condition actual, and of course for the future halal industry goes global and also for Indonesia for the national one. There is, okay, raise hand, ada? Saya kasih kesempatan. Kalau tidak ada, kita tutup dengan sebelum ditutup. Pak Mas Duki ada? Aman? Ya, kalau gitu apa ada tambahan Pak Kuku? Cukup? Pak Lukman? Cukup? Pak Iqbal? Cukup Pak Iqbal?
Pak. Siap.
Cukup ya? Gimana di Bogor hujan?
Hujan Pak ini.
Pak, pantesan nggak ke Jakarta, hujan di Bogor. Memang Pak Lukman juga orang Bogor sebetulnya. Ya, Institut Pertanian Bogor. Oke. Kalau begitu dengan mengucapkan Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin, kita tutup acara hari ini dengan mengucapkan puji syukur kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala yang telah memberikan keberkahan dan juga sekaligus memberikan jalan untuk acara ini berjalan dengan sempurna dan lancar. Mungkin apakah biasanya ditutup dengan doa Pak Mas Duki? Apa langsung dengan MC? Silakan, dan tentunya kami dari depan, moderator, saya mengucapkan mohon maaf kalau ada yang kurang-kurang, kalau ada yang tambah-tambah, apalagi kalau yang di luar yang harusnya diucapkan. Dan juga tentunya kita berikan big applause untuk ketiga orang yang menjadi ketua sidang di masing-masing. Dan yang juga ada di Bogor tadi, yang sedang kehujanan. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
MC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sapta Nirwandar, for leading the wrap-up session. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, give a big applause to moderator and all the speakers today. We finally reached the end of event of the 3rd International Halal Dialogue 2021 today. Thank you for your attendance. Hopefully it was great, wonderful and informative session for you. Stay safe and stay healthy. ISEF 2021, celebrate meaningful of life. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Astagfirullah Bimo. Tapi
Bim, siapa yang nyuruh jemur sepatu butut di sini?
nong pakai roti kalau ngomong nggak hati-hati. Ini sepatu bersejarah, biar kena matahari, biar cepet kering.
Ya ngerti, emang gunanya dijemur itu biar kering, cuman jangan di sini juga jemurnya, Bim. Kan di sana bisa tuh, di situ juga bisa. Bim, tempat lain kan bisa.
Biar dijemur sini.
Ya Allah, nggak di situ juga, Bim, sama aja. Lihat gak sih, ini sama ini konsepnya sama. Pindahin. Apaan sih? Bentar. dicuci sekarang buat dipakai besok maksudnya? Pakai ini besok?
Iya.
Apaan sih? Enggak, yang bener aja. Enggak. Udah diam.
Apa sih?
Apa siapa sih yang nggak pantas lah nih? Cek online shop.
Bagus nih.
Bim. Bim. Wah, bagus sih ya, Bim.
Apa sih?
Ada logo halalnya.
Pakai handphone sendiri, pakai handphone sendiri, pakai.
Ada sertifikat halalnya.
Astagfirullah. Jangan dong, Bimo.
Reja.
Bimo.
Handphone.
Aduh. Handphone. Sini.
Lu badan lu berat banget sih.
Sini, udah kainnya jangan injek-injek lagi dong. Kenapa sih kalian kayak anak kecil banget? Order sepatu aja sampai berantem kayak gitu. Udah baikan dulu, baru diorderin. Mau gak? Senyum.
43.
Iya, udah tahu.
45 ya.
Tuh, udah trusted dia. Terus juga ditulis sama dia, no pig skin lining at all. Berarti dia pakai kulitnya yang halal.
Tapi duitnya halal nggak?
Astagfirullahaladzim, masih ditanya juga.
Iya,
kayak baru kenal.
Tapi halal kan duitnya?
Ya Allah. Nggak jadi ya?
Iya, jadi. Nggak
jadi ya?
Iya, jadi.
Bikin emosi dong. Duit hasil foto masa nggak halal? Cepet banget kan? Katanya sore udah bakal sampai barangnya.
Paket saya, Pak.
Mana paket? Iya, Pak. Tanda tangan.
Tunggu sih.
Makasih, Pak. Happy banget. Keren kan? Iya. Coba kakinya lebih rapat lagi. Oke. Sekarang naikin kakinya, naikin. Nah. Senyum. Oke.
Halo, ya. Mohon izin panitia jangan pulang dulu, kita ada sesi foto bersama. Bisa mohon langsung ke podium segera. Kami ulangi bagi panitia, adapun peserta yang mau hendak foto, kita persilahkan untuk foto bersama. Terima kasih.